Most people think wealth is loud, flashy, shiny. But real wealth is quiet, steady, built day after day by people who don't look rich, because they're busy becoming rich. This is the truth America never understood. Wealth isn't about what you spend. Wealth is about what you keep. In this video, you're about to meet the real millionaires, the neighbors you never suspected. You'll learn why they win, why others lose, and how mental discipline, emotional control, and quiet daily choices create financial independence that lasts a lifetime. If you want freedom, this is your roadmap.
You think you know what wealth looks like. A sharp suit, a flawless watch, a shiny car that screams success from half a block away. But let me tell you something uncomfortable. Most of what you think is wealth isn't wealth at all. It's performance. It's costume. It's financial theater. And the people who are truly wealthy, you walk past them every day and never notice. Because real wealth, the kind that lasts, is the wealth you don't see. Quiet, steady, unimpressive to the untrained eye. Let me paint you a picture. A man steps out of a 10-year-old pickup truck. Plain jeans, a faded shirt, a lunchbox he's been using longer than you've had your phone. He runs a small contracting business. Nothing glamorous. He knows every customer by name. He knows every dollar that comes in and every dollar that goes out. He's worth more than $3 million. Now, picture another man. Fresh suit, newest luxury car, wristwatch that costs more than some people's yearly rent, corporate title, corner office, big presence. He makes six figures, he spends six figures. He saves nothing. He's drowning, quietly, under debt, expectations, and the pressure to look successful. Who's rich? The world points to the second man, but the truth points to the first. Status fools you. Discipline saves you. That's the key. And once you understand that, everything about your financial life changes. The first man isn't trying to impress anyone. He doesn't need applause. He doesn't need permission. He doesn't need the world to validate his success. He just shows up, works smart, spends less than he earns, invests the difference, and keeps stacking bricks of quiet financial freedom while the world is too distracted to notice. The second man? His life is a highlight reel, edited for public approval. But behind that highlight reel is a financial emergency waiting to happen. You see, quiet money wins. Loud money disappears every single time. And here's the truth you might not want to hear. Most people don't want wealth. They want the appearance of wealth. They want to look successful before they are successful. And that mindset ruins more financial futures than low income ever will. Read that again. You have a choice. Every day, every paycheck, every swipe of the card. You can choose status or you can choose freedom. But you cannot choose both.
There's a truth most people refuse to accept. Wealth isn't created by what you buy. It's created by what you walk away from. Every wealthy person, and I mean every genuinely wealthy person, has one trait in common: frugality. Not cheapness, not deprivation. Frugality, conscious spending, deliberate choices, emotional control in the face of temptation. This is the muscle that separates the financially free from the financially fragile. And here's the part people hate to hear: frugality isn't optional. It's foundational. It's non-negotiable. Because the people who build real wealth, they master the art of spending less than they could long before they ever earn more than they need. That's the key. Let's ground this in reality. You walk into a room filled with actual millionaires, not social media millionaires, not rented car millionaires, not fake-it-till-you-break-it millionaires, but real, net worth, proven millionaires. What do you see? Not designer suits, not five-figure watches, not status symbols screaming insecurity. You see normal clothes, normal shoes, cars older than your phone, people who look like they shop at department stores because they do. Why? Because they understand something the rest of the world refuses to. Every dollar you overspend is a dollar that can't grow. Every impulse purchase delays your freedom. Every "I deserve this" moves you one step away from independence. You have a choice. Look wealthy now or be wealthy later, but you can't have both. Let me give you a picture drawn directly from real research. Real wealthy households. A man worth over $2 million opens his closet. What do you think is hanging there? Tailored suits? Luxury fabrics? $500 shirts? No. He's got two suits, both off the rack. One for weddings, one for funerals. He hasn't upgraded in years because he doesn't need to upgrade. He knows who he is. He knows what matters. He doesn't spend to impress. He spends to live. Then there's the other guy, the one who earns more but saves less. He has 10 suits, custom-made name brands, colors he never even wears just to have options. Why? Because he thinks looking affluent makes him affluent. But that's the trap. It's not about appearances. It's about discipline. It's not about impressing strangers. It's about protecting your future. It's not about the wardrobe. It's about the freedom. Frugality isn't punishment. Frugality is power. It's the armor that protects your wealth from your impulses. It's the shield that blocks lifestyle creep. It's the discipline that makes investing possible. Without frugality, nothing in this audiobook works. Not budgeting, not investing, not earning more, not building wealth for your family. Everything rests on this one behavior, the ability to say no today so you can say yes tomorrow. And trust me, millionaires say no a lot. But here's what people get wrong. Frugal people aren't suffering. They're not restricting themselves out of fear. They're not denying themselves because they feel unworthy. They're deliberate. They're strategic. They're empowered. They're building something bigger than a purchase. They're building a future. You want to know what real wealth feels like? It doesn't feel like buying something expensive. It feels like security. It feels like control. It feels like peace. It feels like waking up knowing you're safe no matter what happens. That's what frugality buys you. Freedom, not stuff. Let's make this personal. Think of the richest person you actually know. Not the flashiest, not the loudest, not the one bragging about crypto profits or posting vacation photos, the richest one with proof. Now ask yourself, do they act rich or do they act smart? Almost always, they live below their means. They shop deals. They hate waste. They prioritize value over vanity. They know the cost of everything and the trap inside every unnecessary upgrade. Meanwhile, the financially struggling are always treating themselves, always upgrading, always chasing the feeling of success because they don't have the foundation of success. And look, no judgment. We've all been there. We've all felt the pull of, I want this now. We've all justified unnecessary purchases. But the wealthy develop psychological strength that others never build. They create mental armor against consumer culture. They understand that every purchase has a hidden price, the opportunity cost of what that money could have become. That's real emotional mastery, because wealth isn't built in big leaps. It's built in tiny moments. Choosing not to buy the status phone. Choosing not to upgrade the perfectly fine car. Choosing to cook instead of dining out every night. Choosing a shirt for $40 instead of $200. Choosing long-term power over short-term pleasure. That's how fortunes are built. That's how freedom is built. That's how discipline becomes destiny. And here's the twist. Frugal millionaires actually enjoy their money more. Why? Because they aren't drowning in payments. They're not stressed about appearances. They're not owned by their own lifestyle. They get to enjoy life without guilt, without fear, without pressure. Meanwhile, the overspenders are living inside a financial prison built with their own decisions. You have a choice. Which side are you choosing? Let me be direct here. If you want to build wealth, real, lasting wealth, you need to fall in love with frugality. Not tolerate it, not kind of do it, but embrace it as the core identity that protects your future. Because frugality isn't about being less. It's about becoming more stable, more independent, more powerful, more resilient. The millionaires you'll hear about in this audiobook didn't get rich by accident. They didn't get rich by luck. They didn't get rich by pretending to be successful. They got rich by choosing discipline over ego, value over vanity, simplicity over spectacle. Quiet money wins, every time. And in the next chapter, we take this even further, because frugality is only one part of the formula. The wealthy go beyond dollars. They manage something far more valuable: their time, their energy, their focus. That's where we're headed next.
There's a reason some people rise financially while others stay stuck, even when their incomes are identical. It's not luck. It's not intelligence. It's not talent. It's allocation. Time, energy, money. The three resources that shape your destiny. And here's the truth most people never face. You can waste all three without ever realizing you're doing it. But the wealthy, they know exactly where every hour goes, where every dollar lands, where every ounce of effort is invested. That's the key. If you win here, everything else becomes easier. If you lose here, nothing else matters. So let me ask you something uncomfortable. Where is your time actually going? Where is your energy actually going? Where is your money actually going? If you can't answer, you're not in control, and wealth does not grow in chaos. Let me give you a picture taken straight from real behavior patterns. Two professionals, same age, same job, same salary. One becomes wealthy. The other stays high income, broke. Why? Because one treats his days like a battlefield. The other treats his days like entertainment. One wakes up with a plan. The other wakes up reacting to everything around him. One schedules financial reviews, trains his mind, and invests deliberately. The other scrolls, spends, and figures it out later. One protects his mental energy like it's gold. The other leaks it everywhere. Outrage, gossip, comparison, distractions. Same income, different destinies. You have a choice. Time is the first battleground. Wealthy people don't find the time. They carve it out with discipline. They guard it with boundaries. They refuse to waste it on noise. Why? Because time is the origin of every financial decision. You cannot plan if you don't have time. You cannot review your spending if you don't carve out time. You cannot learn how to invest, how to build, how to grow, if your day is consumed by distraction. Quiet wealth requires quiet time. So what do millionaires do? They schedule thinking time. They schedule budgeting time. They schedule planning time. They schedule investing time. The average person schedules entertainment. The wealthy schedule intention. It's not about intelligence. It's about discipline. It's not about being busy. It's about being focused. It's not about having free time. It's about making powerful choices with the time you control. Next comes energy. Your mental energy is the fuel that powers your decisions. Every good financial move, saving, investing, resisting impulse, requires emotional strength. But here's the problem. Most people waste their strength long before they reach the decisions that matter. They drain their mental battery on arguments, on notifications, on worrying about opinions, on comparing themselves to people they don't even like. By noon, their tank is already empty, and then they wonder why they can't stay disciplined. You want financial transformation? Protect your energy. Guard your mental bandwidth. Say no more often. Detach from chaos. Because here's the truth. You cannot build wealth from a burned-out mind. You cannot build discipline when you're emotionally exhausted. You cannot make long-term decisions when you're mentally overwhelmed. The wealthy simplify. They eliminate drama. They prioritize peace over everything else. Quiet mind, clear focus, strong decisions. That's the formula. That's the hidden engine behind wealth. And finally, the third resource, money. Most people focus on income. The wealthy focus on allocation. Where does each dollar go? Where should it go? Where must it go to serve the future? The wealthy aren't in love with earning. They're obsessed with optimizing. They know exactly how much they save, exactly how much they invest, exactly how much they spend. They don't hope it works out. They run the numbers. They track the data. They understand the consequences. It's not about deprivation. It's about direction. Money without intention becomes chaos. Money with intention becomes power. But here's the real psychological twist. Time, energy, and money feed each other. If you waste time, you weaken your energy. If you weaken your energy, you sabotage your money. If you sabotage your money, you destroy your time. That's the cycle most people live in. They aren't bad with money. They're bad with time. They're not bad with saving. They're emotionally drained. They're not bad with discipline. They're mentally overloaded. You don't fix the money first. You fix the triangle. If you master your time, everything improves. If you protect your energy, everything sharpens. If you direct your money, everything grows. That's how real millionaires rise. Not through magic, not through inheritance, not through being lucky. Through structure, through intention, through quiet, relentless optimization. Let's go deeper. The financially strong operate with a different kind of mental armor. They understand that every decision has a ripple effect. If they say yes to something meaningless, they are also saying no to something essential. If they let distractions drain them, they are surrendering their future. They see the trade-offs clearly. Most people don't. Most people think wealth is built in big moments, large raises, huge investment wins, sudden opportunities. But wealth is built in the small daily decisions, closing the laptop instead of scrolling, going to sleep instead of staying up, reading instead of comparing, planning instead of avoiding, working a priority instead of chasing the quick dopamine hit. You have a choice. Every day, every hour, every moment. Where you place your attention becomes your outcome. Where you place your effort becomes your identity. Where you place your money becomes your future. Time, energy, money. These are not separate. They are connected. They are inseparable. The wealthy understand this. They move differently because they think differently. They guard the morning. They protect their focus. They eliminate waste. They prioritize deep work. They refuse the unnecessary. They honor the essential. Because they know your schedule is your strategy. Your habits are your net worth. Your calendar predicts your freedom. And if your days are chaotic, your financial life will always be chaotic. So ask yourself right now, are you moving with direction or drifting with distraction? Are you using time as a weapon or letting it slip through your fingers? Are you conserving energy or leaking it into everything that doesn't matter? Are you telling your money where to go or wondering where it went? You have a choice. You always have a choice. And now that you've seen the power of the triangle, time, energy, and money, we can move forward. Because in the next chapter, we confront one of the biggest illusions in modern life, the obsession with looking successful instead of becoming successful. You aren't what you drive, and that truth is going to change everything. That's where we go next.
Let's get something straight from the first sentence. Your car does not define you. Your car does not measure you. Your car does not announce your worth to the world. But for millions of people, the car is the costume, the symbol, the mask they wear because they're terrified to be seen without it. And that fear, that insecurity, is one of the biggest reasons people stay broke. Because here's the truth you've been avoiding. Most people don't buy cars. They buy identity. They buy validation. They buy applause. But applause doesn't build wealth. Applause builds debt. And the wealthy? They know this game, and they refuse to play it. They don't need a luxury badge to feel powerful. They don't need a logo to feel respected. They don't need a shiny machine to convince strangers they've made it. They made it long before they ever stepped into a dealership. That's the key. So let me give you a real-world picture from actual millionaire households, people with seven-figure net worth, not seven-figure fantasies. A wealthy business owner pulls into a parking lot. His truck is 10 years old. The paint is fading. The mileage is high. And guess what?
He loves that truck. It works, it's paid for, it never asked for attention or approval. He steps out, calm, confident, grounded, because he knows who he is, with or without horsepower. 2 spaces down, a man climbs out of a luxury SUV, payments bigger than his retirement contributions. He feels good for a second, but deep down, he knows the truth. He bought that car to keep up with an image that keeps him financially stuck. And here's the uncomfortable part. Society admires the second guy. Society overlooks the first one because society is fooled by noise. But wealth is quiet. Wealth is invisible. Wealth is in the choices no one sees. You aren't what you drive. You are what you save. You are what you invest. You are what you build. Most people don't want to hear that. They want shortcuts. They want to feel wealthy, even if they aren't. They want the dopamine hit that comes with pulling up in something shiny. But dopamine disappears. Financial damage does not. You have a choice. Do you want to impress people for 5 seconds, or do you want to free yourself for a lifetime? Let's go deeper. Cars drain more wealth from households than almost anything else. Not because cars are bad, cars are necessary, but because cars have become a stage, a performance, a financial trap disguised as freedom. Most people don't buy the car they need. They buy the car their ego needs. And it shows. The data is brutal. The people who buy the most expensive cars, they are rarely the wealthiest. They are the ones trying to look wealthy. Meanwhile, millionaires, real millionaires, buy value. They buy reliability. They buy efficiency. They buy practicality. They choose cars like they choose investments, based on long-term benefit, not short-term excitement. That's emotional mastery. That's psychological strength. That's the discipline most people refuse to develop. Let's talk about lifestyle pressure. Everyone feels it. You see someone driving something new and shiny, and something inside you whispers, "I want that. I deserve that. I should be able to have that too." But deserve is a dangerous word. Deserve is a trap. It's not about deserving, it's about discipline. It's not about image, it's about independence. It's not about matching someone else's highlight reel. It's about building a life on your terms. You don't need their permission. You don't need to compete. You don't need to keep up. Because here's the truth millionaires live by. If you let your car decide your identity, you will never be free. Never. Every payment steals your options. Every upgrade delays your wealth. Every emotional purchase chains you to a lifestyle you can't sustain. Those chains feel comfortable at first. They shine, they sparkle, they make you feel important. But chains are chains. Luxury chains still keep you trapped. The wealthy understand this better than anyone. That's why they avoid traps. They avoid unnecessary debt. They avoid appearances. They choose flexibility. They choose savings. They choose investments. They choose freedom. Quiet money wins. Loud money loses. Every time. Think about the people in your life. You already know someone drowning in payments, someone who keeps upgrading cars while downgrading their financial future, someone who buys vehicles instead of buying security. And you probably know someone else who drives something modest, unremarkable, maybe even old, but somehow they're always stable, always calm, always in control of their financial life. Which one do you want to be? Here's another uncomfortable truth. Advertisers know your psychological weaknesses better than you do. They know you want status. They know you want admiration.
They know you want to feel successful even if you aren't yet, and they weaponize that desire. They convince you that a car is not a machine, it's your identity, your worth, your projection to the world. But your identity isn't parked in your driveway. Your worth isn't written on your grill. Your future isn't measured in horsepower. It's measured in habits, in decisions, in discipline, in what you do with the money that everyone else burns. And I want to be brutally clear. You don't become wealthy by buying things that fade. You become wealthy by building things that grow. Cars fade. Cars depreciate. Cars drain you. Investments grow. Habits strengthen you. Discipline frees you. You have a choice. Every time you step into a dealership, every time you compare yourself to someone else's purchase, every time your ego whispers upgrade, you can choose ego or you can choose freedom. You can choose to feel rich or you can choose to become rich. This entire book reveals what real millionaires do, not the flashy ones, not the loud ones, not the temporary ones. The real ones, the resilient ones, the ones who build generational stability from the ground up. And almost all of them live by the same quiet rule. You aren't what you drive. You are what you consistently do. You are what you control. You are what you sacrifice. You are what you choose. And now that you've seen how the wealthy think about cars, status, and identity, it's time to face an even more delicate truth. Because your spending isn't just shaped by your ego, it's shaped by your environment, especially your family. In the next chapter, we dive into one of the biggest wealth killers in America: family support that destroys discipline, gifts that weaken, help that hurts, love that accidentally creates dependency. It's a hard chapter, but it's necessary. That's where we're going next.
There's a truth most families never talk about. A truth that feels uncomfortable, almost forbidden. A truth that breaks more financial futures than bad jobs, bad luck, or bad markets combined. It's this: sometimes the help you give your family destroys them. Not emotionally, not spiritually, financially. And when their financial life collapses, yours gets dragged down with it. People don't want to hear this. It feels wrong. It feels harsh. It feels unloving. But love without boundaries isn't love. It's sabotage. And if you want to build wealth that lasts, you must understand a hard reality. Not every gift helps. Not every bailout heals. Not every financial boost creates strength. Sometimes your generosity is the very thing blocking their growth. You have a choice. Let me give you the picture clearly because the patterns show up over and over again. A wealthy couple builds their net worth through decades of discipline, frugal choices, smart investing, long nights, early mornings, sacrifice their friends don't understand, focus their neighbors laugh at. They earn their freedom. Now look at their adult child, loved, supported, protected, and slowly weakened. Every time that child overspends, mom and dad step in. Every time that child gets behind on rent, mom and dad send a transfer. Every time that child buys a lifestyle they can't afford, mom and dad cover the bill to keep them comfortable. It feels kind. It feels supportive. It feels like the right thing to do. But it isn't. Because the child stops developing the one superpower every wealthy person must have: responsibility, accountability, discipline, ownership of their own choices. Without those, wealth dies, opportunity dies, motivation dies, and the parent wonders, why can't my child stand on their own? The answer is simple: you never let them fall. Real strength isn't built from comfort. Real strength is built from consequences. That's the key. Here's the tough truth. When you rescue someone from every financial mistake, you also rescue them from the lessons that create resilience. You protect them from pain and also from growth. You protect them from consequences and also from maturity. You protect them from reality and also from responsibility. You don't need their permission to stop enabling them. You just need courage. Because here's the pattern the wealthy understand. The more financial gifts given to adult children, the less wealth those children build for themselves. Not because they're incapable, but because they never had to become capable. Why save when someone will save you? Why budget when someone will bail you out? Why discipline yourself when comfort is guaranteed? Dependency masquerades as love, but dependency kills discipline, and discipline is non-negotiable for wealth. So ask yourself right now, are you helping or are you handicapping? Are you empowering or are you enabling? Are you creating independence or dependence? You have a choice. Look at the households where parents set boundaries, strong ones. No, we won't fund your lifestyle. No, we won't cover your mistakes. No, we won't let you live above your means with our money. You know what happens to those kids? They adapt. They grow. They figure it out. They learn to live within their own boundaries. They develop grit, responsibility, and real-world financial strength. And in time, they become stable, independent, capable, just like the parents who raised them. Contrast that with the children who always receive, the ones raised to believe that comfort is automatic, that money appears on request, that someone else will handle the consequences. Those children grow up with the body of an adult and the financial skill set of a child, because money given freely keeps them weak. It strips away the hunger that drives people to grow. It insulates them from reality until reality smashes them later. And here's the killer. The more money parents gift, the more their children spend. Not logically, emotionally. Because gifted money feels less real, less earned, less valuable. It slips through fingers faster. This is one of the great tragedies of modern families. Parents give money to prevent stress and cause long-term financial destruction. They think they're protecting their kids, but they're protecting them from exactly the struggle that would have turned them into strong adults. You have a choice. Let me be blunt. You cannot build generational wealth if your adult children depend on you. You cannot stay wealthy if you're constantly rescuing grown adults from their own decisions. You cannot protect your future while funding someone else's bad habits. Love your children, but don't finance their self-destruction. Love them enough to let them grow. Love them enough to let them struggle. Love them enough to let them earn their own future. Because here's the truth most people avoid. The children of disciplined families thrive. The children of overprotective families break. It's not about being strict. It's about being smart. It's not about withholding love. It's about withholding dependency. It's not about saying no because you're cold. It's about saying no because you care about their long-term identity. Quiet money wins. Quiet discipline wins. Quiet boundaries save futures. And this applies beyond children. Parents supporting siblings. Grandparents enabling grandchildren. Relatives bailing out relatives. The cycle repeats across generations, draining the wealth of everyone involved. If you want freedom, you must draw a line. If you want stability, you must set boundaries. If you want a strong family, you must require strength from your family. That doesn't mean you never help. It means you help in ways that build, not break. Support that teaches, not rescues. Guidance that strengthens, not weakens. Help that empowers independence, not dependence. You don't need their permission to protect your future. You don't need their approval to set a boundary. You don't need to sacrifice your financial security for someone else's comfort. You have a choice, and choosing discipline doesn't make you unkind. It makes you wise. Because the families that stay wealthy, They pass down values, not luxuries. They pass down discipline, not dependency. They pass down responsibility, not entitlement. And now that you understand how family dynamics can quietly destroy wealth, it's time to flip the script and see the opposite side. How the wealthy raise children who become strong, responsible, financially independent adults without handouts. That's our next chapter.
There's a question every parent eventually asks. How do I give my children a better life without weakening them? Most parents get this wrong. Not because they don't love their kids, but because they love them so much, they shield them from the very force that makes adults strong. Responsibility. You can give a child comfort. You can give a child safety. You can give a child love. But the moment you give a child your financial identity, you strip away their chance to build their own. And here's the truth wealthy families learned the hard way. Children who grow up comfortable often grow up helpless. Children who grow up supported often grow up dependent. Children who grow up cushioned often grow up financially fragile. Not because they're bad, but because they were never forced to become strong. You have a choice. Let me show you the pattern that repeats across wealthy households every generation. A man builds a fortune through sacrifice. He lives below his means. He works long, unglamorous hours. He invests with discipline. He drives the same car for a decade. He buys value, not vanity. Quiet money, quiet habits, quiet success. His children watch him, but they don't experience what he experienced. They don't feel the pressure. They don't feel the scarcity. They don't feel the grind. They grow up with full refrigerators, safe homes, and new clothes. They benefit from the discipline he lived, but they never learn the discipline he mastered. And when adulthood hits, they don't think like he thinks. They don't spend like he spends. They don't save like he saves. Why? Because children learn from struggle, not from comfort, from responsibility, not from luxury, from boundaries, not from bailouts. That's the key. Parents tell themselves, I don't want my kids to go through what I went through. But what you went through is what built you. Your adversity created your discipline. Your limits created your creativity. Your constraints created your resilience. Your challenges created your identity. And when you remove those challenges from your children's lives, you remove their chance to develop the same strength. This isn't about being harsh. This is about being honest. Self-sufficient adults come from childhoods filled with expectations, not entitlements. Let's get real about what wealthy families who stay wealthy actually do. 1. They require contribution. Kids have chores. Kids have responsibilities. Kids participate in household work, not because the parents need help, but because the kids need ownership. Contribution creates competence. Competence creates confidence. Confidence creates responsibility. 2. They teach money early. Allowance isn't a gift. Allowance is pay for tasks. Kids learn, when I work, money comes in. When I don't work, money doesn't come in. That simple lesson builds the foundation of adulthood. 3. They don't shield their children from financial reality. They talk openly about budgets. They explain costs. They show what saving looks like. They model restraint. They don't pretend money is unlimited. They don't pretend life is effortless. They teach truth, and truth builds strength. 4. They set boundaries around lifestyle. Kids don't get luxury by default. Kids don't get endless upgrades. Kids don't get everything they ask for. Because kids who get everything expect everything. And adults who expect everything achieve nothing. You have a choice. Let me give you a real-world example that plays out again and again. A wealthy father lives below his means, drives a modest car, wears inexpensive clothes, buys nothing he doesn't need. His children? They grow up wanting the opposite. They want the lifestyle they see other people showing off. They want the status he never cared about. They think success looks like consumption. They think adulthood means buy whatever you like. They think luxury is a requirement, not a responsibility. And the wealthy father is left wondering, how did I raise children who live so differently from me? Simple. They inherited his wealth, not his discipline. And wealth without discipline is a ticking bomb. Real financial strength is passed down in habits, not in handouts, in expectations, not in indulgence. You don't need their permission to require responsibility. You don't need their approval to set standards. You don't need to feel guilty for raising strong adults instead of comfortable children. Because kids don't need ease. Kids need competence. Kids need challenge. Kids need the pride that comes from earning something themselves. Here's the tough question parents must face. Are you raising consumers or creators? Dependents or contributors? Adults who can stand on their own or adults who collapse without you? You have a choice. And now that you understand how independence is built, how resilience grows, how financial strength develops inside a family, we can move to the next stage of the millionaire mindset. Finding the niche, the underlooked opportunities where ordinary people quietly build extraordinary wealth. The next chapter reveals why the richest self-made individuals often come from the industries nobody glamorizes, and why boring careers build the strongest fortunes. That's where we're going next.
Most people chase the same jobs, the same titles, the same crowded paths. They dream of glamorous careers, high-status roles, and impressive labels they can show off at parties. But the wealthy? The genuinely wealthy? They don't chase prestige. They chase profit. And here's the twist. Real wealth is rarely found in glamorous industries. Real wealth is built in niches, the overlooked, unglamorous corners of the economy where few people are willing to go. That's the key. People assume millionaires are surgeons, lawyers, hedge fund stars, or tech executives. But the evidence says otherwise. Again and again, the data reveals something the world refuses to believe. Many millionaires are owners of boring businesses. Contractors, welders, scrapyard operators, electricians, pest control companies, manufacturing shops, lawn service companies, small distributors, repair services. Industries with real demand, low competition, and high margins, but zero glamour. And this is where ordinary people quietly build extraordinary wealth. You have a choice. Let me paint a picture. A man owns a small plumbing company. No fancy headquarters, no flashy branding, no viral marketing. Just trucks, tools, technicians, and non-stop demand. People call. He shows up. He solves problems. He gets paid. He invests the profits. He lives below his means. He grows year by year. By the time he's in his 50s, he's worth several million. Meanwhile, someone with a more prestigious career, a lawyer, a consultant, or corporate executive, might earn more per year, but have almost nothing to show for it. Why?
because prestige comes with pressure. Pressure to look the part. Pressure to upgrade the lifestyle. Pressure to match the image of success. The niche business owner doesn't deal with any of that. Nobody expects him to show up in luxury. Nobody watches him the way they watch status-chasing professionals. Nobody cares about his image. And that freedom protects his wealth. Quiet money wins. Loud expectations destroy. Let's go deeper. The wealthy understand a simple truth. Money flows to those who solve painful problems. Not glamorous problems, painful ones. A broken pipe, an AC unit, an electrical issue, a pest invasion, a manufacturing delay, a logistics bottleneck. When something breaks, people pay. Quickly, willingly, repeatedly. These industries may not look exciting, but they are the backbone of the economy. They survive recessions. They survive trends. They survive technology hype cycles. Glamour fades. Necessity pays forever. That's the key. Most people overlook niches because they're not sexy. They don't elevate your social status. They don't earn admiration on Instagram. They don't impress people who only value image. But the wealthy don't care about image. They care about independence. They don't chase applause. They chase margins, predictability, demand, control. They don't think, what job will make me look successful? They think, what niche will allow me to build wealth and keep it? That mindset is rare, and it's the reason they win. Here's the pattern. 1. Niches have fewer competitors. Most people want glamorous careers, which overcrowd certain industries. But the unglamorous niches? Wide open, low competition, high opportunity. 2. Niches are stable. People always need plumbing. People always need electricity. People always need repairs, installations, cleaning, manufacturing, logistics. The world can't function without these services. 3. Niches generate strong cash flow. Not hype, not imaginary valuations, actual, dependable cash, month after month. 4. Niches allow living below your means. Because nobody expects you to look wealthy, it's easier to stay disciplined. Your job doesn't pressure you into overspending. The wealthy love niches because niches protect their behavior. You aren't what you drive. You aren't what you wear. You aren't your title. You are your habits, and niche careers make it easier to keep those habits strong. You have a choice. But people resist this truth. They say, I want a career I'm proud of. I want something exciting. I want something people admire. Let me be direct. You don't need admiration. You need freedom. You don't need to look important. You need to become independent. You don't need their permission to choose a niche that builds wealth. Because here's the reality. The people who judge your career will not pay your bills. They will not fund your retirement. They will not rescue you when you're drowning financially. Their opinions don't matter. Your discipline does. Some of the wealthiest people in America never stepped into a glamorous office. They stepped into warehouses, factory floors, job sites, work trucks, small offices above industrial garages. And while the world underestimated them, they built fortunes. That's the quiet power of a niche. Now let's address another truth the world avoids. Not every niche fits every person, but every person has a niche. Your job isn't to mimic someone else's path. Your job is to find the opportunity others are ignoring, the market gap others overlook, the unglamorous need others avoid. You have a choice. Chase status or chase opportunity? Be admired or be wealthy? Follow the crowd or follow demand? And here's the mindset shift that will set you free. Wealth is not built by following prestige. Wealth is built by following value. If you solve a real problem, you will never be broke. If you solve a painful problem, you will never be unemployed. If you solve a recurring problem, you will never stop earning. And the wealthy understand this deeply. They pick niches that people will always need. They build businesses around service, reliability, and value. They focus less on excitement and more on consistency, because consistency compounds. Excitement doesn't. Quiet money, quiet niches, quiet growth. You have a choice. And now that you understand the power of unglamorous opportunity, now that you see how wealth hides in industries most people underestimate, we can move to the next chapter. Because even with the right niche, even with discipline, even with strong habits, many people still fail financially simply because they misunderstand the relationship between income and wealth. High earners go broke every day, and modest earners become millionaires every year. Why? Because income is not destiny. Behavior is.
Most people believe the biggest financial myth in America. If I earn more, I'll automatically build wealth. But you already know that's not true. You've seen people earning six figures who are broke. You've seen doctors drowning in debt. You've seen lawyers who can't retire. You've seen executives living paycheck to paycheck in bigger houses with bigger problems. And you've seen the opposite too. People with ordinary jobs quietly stacking millions. Why? Because income does not create wealth. Behavior creates wealth. Discipline creates wealth. Choices create wealth. Income just reveals who you are. That's the key. Let me give you a real image the world never wants to talk about. Two people, same age. One is a high-status professional, let's say a corporate attorney. The other owns a small mobile home dealership. Guess who ends up with the higher net worth? Most people would point at the attorney. Prestige? Respect? High pay. But prestige is a costume. Status is a performance. Income is not wealth. The small business owner, humble, unflashy, invisible to society, often wins. Not because he earns more, but because he keeps more. He saves aggressively. He invests consistently. He avoids lifestyle inflation. He lives below his means. He refuses to play the social game the attorney is trapped in. You have a choice. Now here's the truth wealthy people understand better than anyone. Your job tells the world what you do. Your wealth tells the world how you live. And those two things rarely match. The attorney is expected to look successful. Nicer house, newer car, private school, expensive vacations. Expectations destroy him. Every year his income rises and his lifestyle rises faster. He earns more and keeps less. He works more and owns less. He looks richer and becomes poorer. That's the tragedy of the high-status career path. Meanwhile, the mobile home dealer. Nobody expects him to wear a Rolex. Nobody expects him to drive a luxury car. Nobody expects him to upgrade his lifestyle every time he earns more. He can live quietly. He can live simply. He can live intentionally. And in that quiet, he builds wealth. The world admires the loud one, but the loud one is financially fragile. The world ignores the quiet one, but the quiet one
is financially unbreakable. Quiet money wins. Let's go deeper. The reason high-income earners stay broke is not income, it's identity. High-income professions come with social scripts, unspoken expectations, lifestyle pressures. You're a doctor, you should live like one. You're an executive, you should dress like one. You're a lawyer, you can't drive that. You're successful, act successful. Act successful. Act successful. Act successful. Those words kill wealth faster than any recession. Because once you start performing wealth instead of building wealth, you're done. It's not about the job. It's about the discipline. It's not about the paycheck. It's about the habits. It's not about appearing successful. It's about becoming financially resilient. You have a choice. Now let's flip the script and talk about the people who win, the people with average incomes who become millionaires anyway. They don't try to look rich. They try to be rich. They avoid the status traps. They avoid the comparison games. They avoid the pressure to impress. They don't buy a bigger house just because the bank approved it. They don't trade in their car every time their ego twitches. They don't chase lifestyle, they chase freedom. Most importantly, they save at high rates. They invest consistently. They manage their money with intention. Their job may not be glamorous. Their title may not be impressive. Their salary may not be elite, but they make elite decisions. They understand a fundamental truth. It's easier to build wealth on a $70K income with discipline than on a $250K income with ego. Let that sink in. Income amplifies who you already are. If you're disciplined, higher income accelerates wealth. If you're undisciplined, higher income accelerates disaster. Without discipline, income is gasoline poured on insecurity. With discipline, income is gasoline poured on opportunity. You have a choice. And now that we've dismantled the lie that income equals wealth, now that you understand why modest earners win and why high earners fail, it's time to go deeper into the mathematics of wealth itself. In the next chapter, we reveal the formula the wealthy use to measure their progress, track their growth, and judge their financial strength with brutal clarity. The chapter where you learn whether you're building wealth or pretending to. PAWs versus UAWs. Builders versus spenders. Actual wealth versus imaginary wealth. That's where we're going next.
Most people think wealth is emotional, a feeling, a vibe, a lifestyle. But the wealthy know the truth. Wealth is math. Behavioral math. Brutal math. Unforgiving math. And the math never lies. You can fake confidence. You can fake status. You can fake success on social media. But you cannot fake your net worth. The numbers expose you. The numbers reveal you. The numbers tell the story you're afraid to read. And the wealthy? They study those numbers with cold clarity. They don't guess, they measure. They don't hope, they track. They don't estimate their progress, they calculate it. That's the key. Let's start with the simplest and most painful question. Are you a wealth builder or a wealth pretender? The book uses two terms for this distinction. PAW, prodigious accumulator of wealth. UAW, under-accumulator of wealth. The difference between them isn't income. It isn't age. It isn't career. It's behavior. PAWs save aggressively.
UAWs spend aggressively. PAWs invest consistently. UAWs consume consistently. PAWs measure progress. UAWs avoid the numbers. You have a choice. Now, let's get to the math that terrifies the world. The formula that tells you exactly where you stand. The wealthy use a simple calculation. Expected net worth equals your age times your income divided by 10. If your actual net worth is higher than that number, you're a PAW. If it's lower, you're a UAW. That's it. No excuses, no angles, no illusions, just the truth. Let me show you how this plays out in real life. Two people are both 40 years old. Both earn $100,000 a year. Both should have around $400,000 in net worth. One has $850,000. The other has $40,000. Same job, same age, same income. Different behavior. The first one is a builder, consistent saver, disciplined investor. No lifestyle inflation, no ego spending. Measured progress every year. The second one is a spender. Nice vacations, nice upgrades, nice toys, nice debt. And here's the brutal truth. Most high-income earners are UAWs. Most wealthy households are PAWs. The difference is not luck, it's lifestyle. The PAW uses math as a compass. The UAW avoids math like a mirror. Which one are you? You have a choice. Let's break down the behaviors that push you into PAW territory, the millionaire territory. 1. PAWs save at high percentages. Not 3%, not 5%, not whatever is left. They save deliberately, often 15%, 20%, even 30 or more percent. They treat saving like rent, mandatory, not optional. UAWs save whatever magically remains after overspending, which means they save nothing. 2. PAWs invest early and continuously. They understand compound growth isn't magic, it's math. Invested money multiplies. Uninvested money disappears. They invest when the market is up or down. They invest whether they feel motivated or tired. They invest because it's a system, not a mood. UAWs invest when life is stable. Life is never stable, so they never start. 3. PAWs track their spending. They know exactly where each dollar goes. Not because they're cheap, because they're strategic. They don't fear bank statements. They study them. The UAW avoids financial statements. Avoidance is expensive. 4. PAWs maintain a stable lifestyle. Income rises, lifestyle doesn't. Their car stays the same. Their house stays modest. Their expenses remain controlled. Stability compounds wealth. The UAW loses every raise before it arrives. More income equals more spending. More spending equals more stress. More stress equals less wealth. 5. PAWs say no to trends. No to impulsive upgrades. No to lifestyle comparison. No is their wealth-building superpower. UAWs say yes too often. Yes to status. Yes to comfort. Yes to temporary pleasure. Yes is expensive. This is the math the wealthy live by. This is the math UAWs avoid. This is the math that creates separation between the financially free and the financially fragile. It's not glamorous. It's not complicated. It's uncomfortable, and that's why it works. Let's go deeper. Your net worth is not a number. It's a mirror. It reflects your habits, your discipline, your emotional strength. Low net worth isn't failure. It's a signal, a call-out, a wake-up. High net worth isn't luck. It's a pattern, a behavior, a lifestyle. And here's the psychological twist. People who avoid net worth tracking are the ones who need it most. People who fear the numbers always lose to the numbers. Avoidance never builds wealth. Awareness does. You don't need perfection. You need clarity. You don't need to earn more. You need to control more. You don't need to impress anyone. You need to impress yourself with your own discipline. You have a choice. Let's talk about one more painful truth. Debt destroys net worth faster than income can rebuild it. The wealthy treat debt like fire, useful in small amounts, catastrophic when uncontrolled. The UAW treats debt like oxygen, necessary, constant, normal. PAWs avoid unnecessary debt. UAWs normalize unnecessary debt. PAWs use debt strategically. UAWs use debt emotionally. PAWs pay interest rarely. UAWs pay interest constantly. This alone separates those who build wealth from those who pretend to. And now here's the final truth the wealthy understand better than everyone. Wealth isn't built by the numbers in your paycheck. It's built by the numbers in your habits, your savings rate, your investment rate, your spending discipline, your lifestyle control, your ability to say yes to the future and no to the moment. The math is simple. The discipline is not. But you have a choice. Right now, you know your trajectory. You know whether your habits build wealth or burn it. You know whether your identity matches your goals. You know where you stand in the math, even if you've avoided calculating it. And now that you understand how the wealthy measure themselves, now that you've seen the real formula behind financial strength, now that the numbers have been stripped of emotion, stripped of illusion, stripped of excuses, we can move to the final chapter, the chapter that ties the identity, the habits, the psychology, the discipline, and the math into one truth. Wealth is a mindset, a lifestyle, a daily expression of quiet discipline. In the next chapter, we reveal the mentality that turns ordinary people into unstoppable wealth builders. The mindset millionaires live by every day. That's where we're going next.
This is the chapter everything has been building toward. The chapter where the numbers, the habits, the behaviors, the choices, the sacrifices, the discipline, all of it come together. Because wealth isn't an event. It isn't a moment. It isn't a jackpot or luck or fate. Wealth is a mindset, a lifestyle, a quiet identity you build every day. Not loud, not flashy, not dramatic. Quiet, simple, disciplined. That's the key. People love to talk about becoming wealthy, but the wealthy don't talk. They act. They don't perform. They execute. They don't announce. They commit. Everything they do is grounded in one truth. Freedom is built daily, not in giant leaps,
not in rare opportunities, not in lucky breaks. Daily choices, daily restraint, daily consistency. You have a choice. Let's strip wealth down to the core behavior that separates winners from everyone else. Emotionally strong people build wealth. Emotionally weak people destroy it. Not because they're bad, not because they're lazy, but because they don't control their impulses. Every purchase is emotional. Every upgrade is emotional. Every financial decision is emotional. And the wealthy? They master their emotions. They build psychological strength. They train their inner power the same way an athlete trains their body. They understand something most people never confront. If you can't control yourself, you can't control your money. If you can't control your money, you can't control your life. Quiet discipline wins. Every time. Let me show you what this mindset looks like in real life. A wealthy person walks into a store. They see something they want. They feel the impulse, the excitement, the desire, just like anyone else. But here's the difference. They pause. They breathe. They think, do I need this? Will this move me forward or set me back? Is this purchase about value or ego? Am I buying freedom or sacrificing it? Seconds. Not hours, not days. Seconds. But those seconds save them thousands. Those seconds build their net worth. Those seconds strengthen the mindset that makes everything else possible. Most people never pause. They obey the impulse. They obey the emotion. They obey the moment. Impulse will always betray you. Discipline will always protect you. You have a choice. Here's the secret the wealthy live by. Wealth isn't about what you can buy. Wealth is about what you can walk away from. They walk away from waste. They walk away from ego. They walk away from pressure. They walk away from trends. But what they gain? Control, power, clarity, independence. They don't need external validation. Their discipline is their validation. That's mental armor. That's emotional mastery. That's the mindset that builds fortunes calmly, quietly, consistently. And here's the part people misunderstand. Millionaires don't suffer through discipline. They prefer discipline. They enjoy discipline. They depend on discipline. Because discipline reduces chaos. Discipline creates peace. Discipline gives them a sense of control in a world that feels uncontrollable. Their joy doesn't come from spending. Their joy comes from progress, from clarity, from knowing they are secure, steady, and free. Let's go deeper. Most people live in emotional chaos. They work when they feel inspired. They save when they feel motivated. They invest when they feel confident. They spend when they feel stressed. They upgrade when they feel insecure. Their money follows their moods. Their emotions control their net worth. But wealthy people reverse this entirely. They don't wait for motivation. They rely on systems. They rely on habits. They rely on discipline. They don't ask, do I feel like saving? They save. They don't ask, do I feel like investing? They invest. They don't ask, do I feel like budgeting? They track. Because feelings are unreliable. Discipline is not. That's the mindset. That's the difference. That's why they win. You have a choice. Let's talk about long-term thinking, the silent weapon of every millionaire. The wealthy constantly think in decades, not days, not weeks, not even years. Decades. Most people think about the weekend. The wealthy think about retirement. Most people think about the next paycheck. The wealthy think about the next generation. Most people think about the latest trend. The wealthy think about long-term stability. The world rewards impatience with distraction.
but life rewards patience with freedom. Quiet discipline wins. Let me give you an example the book highlights repeatedly. Many millionaires say the journey, the discipline, the growth, the consistency mattered more than the money itself. Why? Because discipline builds identity. Identity builds confidence. Confidence builds calm. Calm creates power. The journey transforms them, not the money, the mindset. So let me ask you something direct. Are you living for the moment or for your future? Are you chasing the feeling of success or building the foundation of success? Are you controlled by your emotions or guided by your principles? You have a choice. And here's the final truth, the truth every self-made millionaire understands deep down. Wealth is not about becoming someone else. Wealth is about becoming your strongest, most disciplined version of yourself. Not louder, quieter, not flashier, simpler, not egotistical, grounded. Wealth doesn't inflate you, it humbles you. It focuses you. It sharpens you. Because when you commit to discipline, when you commit to frugality, when you commit to responsibility, when you commit to long-term intention, you stop living for applause and start living for freedom. Quiet discipline wins. Quiet discipline builds. Quiet discipline becomes who you are. And now you see the full picture. You've walked through the identity of the millionaire next door. You've seen the habits, the math, the psychology, the discipline, the choices, the mindset. You've seen how ordinary people, unnoticed, unflashy, unglamorous, build extraordinary wealth. And now this entire audiobook leads to you, your choices, your discipline, your future. Because this journey doesn't end here. This is the moment your own journey begins. The mindset is yours if you choose it. The discipline is yours if you commit to it. The freedom is yours if you protect it. You have a choice, and now you have the knowledge. The millionaire mindset isn't something you're born with. It's something you decide, daily, quietly, unapologetically. Your future begins now.
So now you know the truth. Wealth isn't loud. Wealth isn't fast. Wealth isn't about showing the world who you are. Real wealth is built in silence, through relentless discipline, emotional mastery, and the courage to live below the noise. The millionaires next door didn't wait for luck. They didn't chase approval. They didn't fall for the trap of status. They chose freedom. Every day, every paycheck, every quiet, disciplined decision. And now, the path is in your hands. Spend with intention. Invest with patience. Live with purpose. Protect your time, your energy, your inner power. If you're ready to build real, lasting wealth, not the kind people brag about, but the kind that buys you your life back, then hit subscribe, follow this series, and start implementing these principles today. Your financial independence is waiting. Start the journey now.